Alright everyone, welcome back again to more Tsukihime. Let's continue. I ripped the skin off my back. Painful but necessary to tear free from the darkness. Besides, listen, can you hear it? Even now, far away. Someone is fighting for me, believing in me. I'll flay myself to the bone if that's what it takes to repay their trust.
どうしてまだ希望を見るの？まだ罪を認めないの？私は絶対に救われない。代行者としてのあなたは犠牲者に過ぎない。私たちには救われる奇跡も生きている理由も愛される価値もない。そうでしょ、エレイシア。
You're right. I'm not worthy of anyone's love. But I have seen a miracle. Something noble and pure. Everything he's ever had has been taken from him. So cruelly and completely has he been robbed, he can't even conceive of what he's lost. If anyone has the right to pursue their own happiness above all else, it's him. Yet he prayed for mine instead. In all his strength, he chose me. So I have to prove that I'm worthy of his faith. In that desire, I discovered the last remnants of my will.
そう。
I reach up towards the light. My body is drained of strength. My heart is as weak as ever. My doubts will stay with me until my dying day. But I have to do this. This life isn't for lamenting the past. It's for standing up and fighting however many times it takes, for as long as there's a single shred of hope left in me.
この偽善者。吸血鬼になっても甘い狙いですね。あなたの本命は私でしょう、ノエル。
Tia regards Noel from atop her pillar. As she should, she has no need to look at me down here on the earth. And now that I've seen she's unharmed, I have nothing to say to her. I played my part. Now it's up to these two to settle their score.
さっきまでメソメソ泣いていたくせに戻ってきた途端に上から目線とか笑えるわ。何？もしかしていじめられるのが癖になっちゃった？もう一度私の目に見入られたいの？
そうですね。それがどんな仕組みの魔眼なのか興味はありますから、使っていただく分には益があります。でもやめておいた方がいいですよ。あなたの魔力量ではその魔眼は対応できない。もう何よりもう効きませんから。それ魔力はより強い魔力に洗い流される。どこのそのレプリカかは知りませんが、分かっていればこの通りです。
The back of Ciel's right hand is glowing. With my half-vampiric gaze, I can see the vortex of energy swirling between the two combatants. A scarlet curse emanates from Noel's eyes, encircling Ciel like a tangle of thorns. But its barbs decay the moment they touch her body. The curse embedded in her right hand overwhelms them with its sheer magnitude. I've seen this light before. The heart of Vlav's curse burned with the same brilliance.
ほんと、どこまでも偉そうな女。やだやだ、そんなに先輩面したいんですか、シエル先輩。これ見よがしに昔の勲章を見せびらかすとか、代行者としても吸血鬼としても上だって言いたいの？
そ そんなこといちいち言わなくちゃ伝わらないレベルでしたか。
いつもの辛辣さが戻ってきたじゃない。でも今さらやる気になっても手遅れだから。冷静になって下を見下ろしたら、四季君は私の指先一つで死者どもの食い物になる。もうあなたが何をやってもあの子は助けられない。それが嫌ならおとなしく私の魔眼に。
失礼。そちらなら当然真っ先に終わらせました。
Huh? For just a second, she glances at me. It seems like she's trying to tell me something, but I can't figure it out. All I can do is look back up at her warily. Hold on. Pinpricks of light fill the sky, and they aren't stars. Their vibrations hit me. 12, 24, more. There's no doubt about it. Those are CL's black keys. Ah, well, thanks for saving my ass. Noel sounds just as surprised as I am. The rain of black keys pierces every last zombie surrounding me, destroying them utterly. Noel turns a murderous glare towards me, or rather, towards the empty ground where her minions used to be, one last time. And then she cuts me out. As far as she's concerned, I no longer exist. Ever the pragmatist, I would have done the same thing. She can no longer afford any oversights or miscalculations. With the table so decisively turned, her objective has changed. Now she is in mortal peril. In the coming minutes, she will have to lay her very existence on the line, not to kill, but to survive.
私の今までの戦い、今までの贖罪は全て嘘だったと言いましたね、ノエル。
言ったわ。何度だって言ってあげる。あなたは嘘つきで、本当のことなんて何一つなかったんだって。
そうですね。私の心は嘘にまみれています。けれど消えないものもある。党の士気を助けたいという気持ちも、贖罪の名のもとに殺してきた犠牲者たちも、犯してしまった過去の罪も、決して消えない私の真実です。私はそれを認めます。これから私が犯す命、私が残す憎しみを全て自分の罪だと認めます。あなたが私を殺すことを正当なものだと受け入れます。
はあ？何を当たり前のことを言ってるのよ。認めたからなんだっていうの。そんなことで自分が正しいだなんて言い張るつもり？
A wall of spikes takes form behind Noel's back, like a vampire's fangs ready to sink into their prey.
いえ、善か悪かで言えば私は悪でしょう。ですが、悪だから良き生き方を望んではいけないかというのなら、それは間違いでした。だって、人間の善悪と人生の善悪は悲しいほど違うものなんですから。私のせいだと復讐に走るあなたの言い分は間違いであり正しい。ロアの転生を止めるという私の使命感も間違いであり正しい。今私たちは同じ境界に立っている。
The same threshold, she says. They are both sinners straddling the line between good and evil. On this battlefield, they are equals.
なら、後の計りは力で示すしかない。互いが間違いであるのなら、それぞれの正しさは互いの強さでしか測れない。
The seventh holy scripture clanks into position. Ciel's eyes make it plain that she will say no more.
何それ。結局強い方が正しいっていうわけ。ああ、本当に信じられない。 最後の最後までムカつく女。
She doesn't understand. Ciel isn't saying that might makes right. She's saying they're both right in their own way, but brute force is the only way they're left to make their cases. It's an apology for failing to apologize before things reach this point, but it falls on deaf ears.
開き直りやがって。それが不公平なんだって何度も何度も言ってるじゃない。
Bells toll to announce the holy night. The executor meets them head on. The vampire can offer the executor no forgiveness. The executor can offer the vampire no salvation. With no recourse left but violence, their final battle begins. Noel's spears streak towards their mark like shooting stars. A rain of steel that will skewer anything in its path, even a foe with superhuman capabilities. She's using distance to her advantage. At range, her supremacy is beyond question. Or it would be if her foe were merely superhuman. That vast distance closes in an instant. That rain of steel clouding the sky shatters against an opponent who doesn't even deign to block. In the blink of an eye, the executor enters killing range. A wall of spikes deflects the bayonet's lethal tip, only to be blasted into shreds of twisted scrap. This is the third time the same dance has played out. Noel's resources are starting to run low. By contrast, her opponent is an implacable juggernaut, blazing with bottomless magical energy. Wiping away tears of shame, Noel rallies herself. She knew it would be like this. Tormenting a sad little half-vampire was one thing, but her current opponent is a monster whom other monsters fear. Victory won't come easily. She knew this from the very beginning, and yet... Each blow pushes her a little further backwards. Each clash saps a little more of her strength. She can't take much more of this. Her only chance is to marshal all her strength and kill her enemy right here, right this instant. She burns every last drop of blood in her veins. She rains down spikes until her reserves are dry. But her efforts beget only despair. The executor is unstoppable, invincible. She can find no opening to exploit, no weakness to give her cause for hope.
一本ぐらい刺さってよ。少しぐらい痛がってよ。擦り傷さえ負わないとか、こんなのあんまりにもひどすぎる。私のが正しいのに、私のが正義なのに負けちゃうの。やっぱり神様なんていないじゃない。私はただ。
It's to punish the woman who took everything from me. The vampire screams bitter venom. But the executor faces the accusation and cuts it down. For years, Noel has pursued her vendetta against Roa. If avenging those he killed was her only motive, it would be fair to call her righteous. But her cause is tainted by self-indulgence, deliberately tormenting dead apostles, playing judge, jury, and executioner for their victims. Her lust for pleasure has claimed 50 human lives. She has used her ends to justify deplorable means, and that is a far cry from just.
悪い。そうでもしないと私みたいな凡人はあなたに追いつけなかった。あなたの足元にも及ばなかった。あなたを責めることができなかった。
All she has left is the single spear in her hand. She draws on her own skills with the halberd, a memento of the time she was human, to swing it with all her strength. Ironically, at this final juncture, their battle has taken on a familiar form. They have sparred like this many times over the years. That familiarity forces a momentary stalemate.
そうだ、倒れろ。お前なんか消えてなくなれ。そう。私はロアなんてどうでもよかった。この先ロアに食われる奴らなんて関係ないし、気にもならない。私の持ち ちを食い物にしたあんたを殺したかっただけなんだ。
That is the truth at the heart of her being. She cares not for the lives Roa might take, only for those he has already taken. And this is the result. Her desires have twisted her into a murderous abomination. Now she is no different from the very vampire she so despised. A slash from the guillotine blade sends her flying. She slumps weakly to the ground, split from shoulder to hip. She plants her broken spear in the earth to keep her torso upright. The battle is over. The executor steadily advances on her incapacitated foe.
吸血鬼になったことではなく、吸血鬼として行動したこと、それがあなたの間違いです。使徒ノエル、弱き人々を守護する精霊と父の名において、あなたへの刑を代行します。
The words rouse her fading consciousness. She's no longer an executor, nor even a clergywoman, only dead Apostle Noel. She looks down at herself as though surprised to find a vampire's failing body staring back. Whether it is sadness or disbelief that courses through her, she cannot tell. Not now she has sold her mortality, but something burns in her veins. How did things end up this way? I'd always hated her, but I thought we had a truce. Maybe this was always coming, but it shouldn't have happened so soon. Something tells me I should have had much farther to go. So why did things come to a head now? Of course. What else? My rage could not be contained. I could have lived without forgiving her. If she just stayed the way she was, I might have settled for indifference. But not after that.
すっごい大成功。ノエルちゃんってばものすっごい。よーし、サービスでもう一本あげちゃいましょう。あ、でもこれはシャレだから追加で打つのはやめときなさいね。今ですら破裂寸前なんだもの。もう一つ上を目指すなんてほんと一瞬で溶けちゃうから。
Ah, Noel, why? Noel is seized by a grotesque metamorphosis. A newborn star flares into being, explodes and condenses into a galaxy all within her chest. An internal transformation on a cosmic scale. Her own body is the first to shatter as her curse tears through it. But in that moment, she finds joy. Now at last she is her enemy's equal.
イデアブラッド、そんなものを打ち込むなんてノエル。
うるさい、うるさい、うるさい。痛い、痛い、痛い。助けて、シエル助けて。うるさい。お前なんかに助けられるか。こんなひどい、痛い。どうして、どうして。
Why the hell did you inject yourself? Her candle's all but burned out. She blindly lashes out again and again, each strike the executor's match.
なんでよ。演技のままならよかったのに。いつもの非人間のままなら私だって許せたのに。吸血鬼を狩るだけの、戦うだけのエンジンならよかったのに。本当に心から尊敬していたのに。なんでこんなところで私を置いてただの
She launches her final blow even as her body breaks. A killing thrust born of her own newfound strength. Faced with the sum of Noel's entire being, Ciel brings her barrel to bear and readies her stake driver. For a moment, she is tempted to surrender for the encroaching spear, the primal scream of Noel's soul. Then she hardens her heart and annihilates her foe. The stake driver obliterates Noel's core. Her spear falls to the ground with a clang. She stretches a blood-stained hand towards nothingness, grasping for someone she could never reach. Her whisper belongs not to an executor, not to a vampire, but to a young girl curled up scared and alone in a chapel hall.
お父さんを返せ。お母さんを返せ。私の人生を返せ。
The disintegration reaches her torso. As her flesh crumbles and darkness closes in,
お願い返して。
she leaves behind one final wish left unspoken for 13 years. Well, that was depressing. Silence returns to the ruined crater. Ciel remains where she stands, head bowed. She never pulled the trigger. The girl's body turned to ash and scattered on the wind before her stake driver could finish its work. She does not let go of her weapon, does not relax her shoulders with a sigh, does not turn to face me as I draw up by her side. All she does is whisper 7 simple words.
5年間はちょっと長かったですね。
A brief soliloquy delivered in colorless tone, belying the horror of the ordeal she just witnessed.
先輩、
基本的に私たち代行者のチームというのは1年も続かないんです。任務中にどちらかが死ぬか、生還しても引退させられるのが常ですから。だから代行者はこういうことに慣れているんです。どちらかが吸血鬼に落ちたら変わる前に殺してほしいとか、本当よくある約束で、任務前には冗談半分本音半分で言い合ったりするチームばっかりで。
先輩。
だから何でもないことで、特に悲しむことでもない。ノエルは吸血鬼になって人間社会にとって害悪になった。精神的な問題ではなく構造的な問題です。彼女はもう人間を殺さなければ生きていけない体になっていた。彼女は身体能力も精神強度も並だったから当然の結果とも言えます。むしろ5年もよく続けられたものです。
先輩。
あの子とは教会で再会しました。ちょっと驚きました。だって私より年上になってたんですよ。彼女はあれからずっと一人で6年も教会にとどまっていた。修道院に引き取られて5年かけてやっと代行者になった。でもお世辞にも優秀とは言えなくて、いつも死にそうな顔をしてすぐにリタイアしそうだった。その度に私に会いに来ては言いたい放題言って元気になるんです。呆れます。それから2年経って私たちはチームになりました。 ちょっとした失敗で司祭様の不興を買った彼女が泣く泣く私を頼ってきたんです。自分を弟子にしてほしい、鋼鉄から守ってほしいって。彼女からすれば死ぬほど嫌な選択でしょうけど、生き残るにはそれしかなかった。私は埋葬機関にスカウトされた後だったので、それなりに権限がありましたから。足手まといになると分かっていたけど、彼女を弟子として迎え入れました。それからずっと任務以外では口を聞かない関係のまま5年間が過ぎました。
先輩、
正直肩の荷が下りました。あの子はとても生き残れなかったし、欲望を抑えるのが下手だった。こうなるのは目に見えていたんです。だから私と組まなければ、あの子はもっと早く代行者なんかやめられて。
いいんだ。謝っていいんだよ、先輩。
She gasps sharply. Her formidable aura wavers for a moment, but that's all. She stays facing away, holding back her feelings with all her might.
ごめんなさい。あなたに何も返してあげられなかった。
Soundlessly, voicelessly, tearlessly, she weeps.
先輩。
I call out to her once more. I know I should wait until she's ready, but I can't bear to leave her alone any longer.
そろそろ行こう。秋でも夜は冷えるんだし、そんな薄着じゃ風邪をひきます。
She nods, takes a deep breath, then turns to look at me with a forced smile.
はい、ご迷惑をおかけしました。私はこの通り元気なので、風邪なんてひきま。遠野くん、何ですかその体。
She dashes up to me to inspect my left arm. I almost black out as she touches my wounds. With everything that's happened, I'd forgotten that my arm was shredded to bits.
治療、すぐに治療します。
Wait, isn't it self-healing already?
ああ、でも首都化しているなら秘跡は逆効果だから、この場合はどうすれば。
She continues to fuss over my arm. It still hurts, but it's 1,000 times better than watching her forced to smile.
いいですよ、無理に治さなくて。放っておく分には痛みはないし、栄養を取れば治ってくれそうです。まだ半分は人間ですから、俺。
あ、そうなんですか。じゃあ私からの魔力供給なんかよりご飯の方が効果的ですよね。
ええ、きっと。だから早く帰りましょう。先輩のアパートなら食べ物はあるでしょう。ほら、作り置きのカレーとか。
She looks so offended. Man, I love her. At last, everything's back to normal. Well, close to normal. Now that our long night is at an end, we can...
遠野くん、
Damn it, he always picks the worst times to butt in. Or maybe he just couldn't keep quiet any longer. The moment I let myself relax, my headache comes back with a vengeance.
ごめん、先輩。俺、歩けそうになくて。情けないけど、先輩の部屋まで肩を貸して。
情けなくなんかないです。無理をせず頭痛に耐えることだけに集中してください。あとは私に任せて。
She slips around to my right side and props me up.
ごめんなさい。抱えてあげたいのは山々なんですけど、 私も荷物があって、はあ、もうこんな時にセブンは起きもしないんですから。
I guess she's talking about her gun. Weapon in one hand and me in the other. CL starts to ascend the debris. At this point, I just want to black out, but I can't afford to lose consciousness yet. If I do, there's no guarantee I'll wake, and besides, I have more to say to CL. I have to keep being me, at least until dawn comes. Even when dawn came, you were a mess. And so the battle over Roa's host comes to an end. I was wondering where she was. It's like she just disappeared off the face of the earth. For tonight anyway, but Chikitona will last until tomorrow. He will not succumb to Roa so easily. Bathed in the light of the moon, she looks on from afar.
変な邪魔が入ったけど、結局あいつの独り勝ちか。ほんと、どこまでも目障りな女。いつも私の気を逆なでるんだもの。邪魔。
I thought she was done. The one in the white watches the two figures vanish from view down below, a grin blossoming on her lips. Shikitono and the executor. Her warm smile and cold malice are directed at them both.
おっかねえ独り言はそこまでだ。さっきを抑えろよ吸血鬼。その辺にしておかねえとこの辺りのカラスがストレスで全滅するぞ。
The top of the building teems with movement. The vampire stands on the edge, the blonde boy behind her. But they are far from the only ones here tonight. Countless executors lie in wait, dressed in battle garb. Even now their numbers grow. Looking in the shadows or perched atop nearby buildings, they await their orders. Their presence is so blatant as to leave the purpose beyond question. They are here to surround and subdue the vampire in white.
マリオ、私、一度忠告したわよね。
ああ、してやがったな。なんでこっちも本気でやる。俺も後がないんでな。使徒になっちまった部下を放置してでもこっちに戦力を集中させた。あれは俺の責任だ。悔やんでも悔やみきれねえ。せめてその代償にあんたにはここで一旦消えてもらう。
Every word he says is true. Over 30 executors are positioned around the rooftop, each one equipped with holy relics and conceptual weapons designed to counter a true ancestor. This is a force assembled to exterminate Archwade, not powerful enough to overwhelm her, but with enough force or rate to equal her. If it comes to battle, they will likely annihilate each other, leaving Mario the sole survivor. She can see that as clearly as he.
お見事。昔からきちんと計算するのよね、あなたは。この町に来る前の私なら微笑みの一つでも送っていたかも。
やめてくれ、縁起が悪い。そもそもあんたが笑うことなんてなかっただろうが。ったく異常すぎるぜ今回のあんたは。だいたいなんでロアを殺しに行かなかった。あいつがロアの逃避先だって分かってたんだろ。
ダメよ、今だとシエルが邪魔するでしょ。あいつがいるうちは我慢しなくちゃ。私、ことはできるだけ穏便におしとやかに済ませたいの。
おしとやかってどういう意味だ。
人間らしいって意味。シエルと戦い出したら私、楽しくなりすぎて町の人間をみんな殺してしまうと思うの。ほら、そうなったらシキに嫌われてしまうでしょ。
The air seems to freeze. This is no longer the woman Mario once knew, nor is it the creature of impulse he encountered days prior. This is something utterly alien, a cruel goddess who would dash to pieces those who displease her.
おい。
でも、その前にこっちが先ね。あなたがいるとロアを生かそうとするし、何よりシエルの味方をされたら面倒だし。小さい方の邪魔者はここで蹴散らしておきましょうか。
phantom flower blooms in the moonlight. On Mario's command, the platoon of executors leaps into action. Their crosshairs converge into pale vampiress. Were she the woman Mario anticipated, she would have died right there. But she is not, and with crimson eyes, she scatters them. The route is precise. The executors drop one by one. No blood soils the concrete. With an invisible force, she momentarily stops their hearts, rendering them unconscious but unharmed. In the blink of an eye, the battle is over, and the vampire turns to the young boy.
ああ、でもあなたは別よ、ベスティーノ。指導者として少しは血を流しなさい。
Blood explodes from the blonde boy's four limbs. He slumps like a marionette with its strings cut. With his forehead drooping to the ground, he almost looks to be begging.
そうなってやがる。吸血衝動で弱ってるんじゃねえのかってめえ。
もちろん乾いて乾いてどうかしそう。ドアに盗まれた私の一部を取り戻さないとこのまま壊れてしまうぐらい。だから一刻も早く士気を取り戻さなくっちゃ。
取り戻す。何立ち狂ってんだてめえ。あのガキの中にはロアがいる。あのガキだってお前の敵じゃねえか。
士気がロアであることに何か問題があるの？
As the boy's mouth gapes, he finally puts his finger on the source of his unease. A true ancestor using their powers indiscriminately is certainly a threat, but not in an unknown quantity. He himself once helped subdue a low-ranking true ancestor who succumbed to their vampiric impulses. This, however, is unprecedented. Arcade has suffered an unthinkable malfunction. The most powerful vampire is broken in the most dangerous possible way.
ええ、これは運命なんだわ。必要なものと欲しいものが同じになるなんて、こんなに嬉しいことがあるなんて私は今まで知らなかった。
Drunken infatuation, the woman in white looks to the sky. She stretches out her hand as though to grasp the moon.
ロアの逃げ先が士気でよかった。それって心身ともに彼は私のものってことでしょ。
In the throes of bloodlust, she has never looked more love-struck. We make it back to Ciel's apartment without turning any heads. Apparently, Ciel keeps a simple glamour on herself to divert people's attention, so as long as I'm with her, there's no danger of being noticed. I knew vampires could do some crazy things, but I guess the church isn't far behind. We make our way inside. Only 10 days have passed since I first came here, but that evening feels a lifetime ago.
どうぞ。狭苦しいところですが楽にしてください。
はい。ではお邪魔します。
I have a better question. How the hell is he going to control himself around her? Granted, yes, she can protect herself, but even still. Even after everything that's happened, I still feel self-conscious about coming to a girl's house late at night.
頭痛はどうですか？ここなら少しは緩和されるはずなんですが。
My headache died down the moment I entered the apartment. It doesn't disappear completely, but it's much more bearable.
すごい、めちゃくちゃ楽になった。さすが先輩、本当何でもできるんですね。
それは良かったです。私の知識もたまには人の役に立てるんですね。
She smiles in relief, but her expression remains drawn.
遠野くんはそこにいてください。ご飯温めてきます。
So, are we not going to address the fact that he's harboring an evil soul entity in him? She listlessly retreats to the kitchen. I hope it won't be long before she's back to Wait a minute. Back to normal.
先輩、ちょっと待って。
はい？何かリクエストですか？ ご飯を大盛りに、それともルーを2倍ですか？
She's got a full menu all planned out. Is she making up for the convenience store food she served last time? I guess it's better not to ask. Anyway, there's something more important on my mind.
着替えないんですか？
That's what's important on your mind?
その服なんていうか。
Threatening, maybe? Or enticing?
おかしいですか？
いえ、文句なしで似合ってます。そこは自信を持ってください。ただ、つい廃墟で追いかけられたことを思い出しそうになるというか。
It might be the start of a deep-seated trauma, if I'm being honest.
そうですよね。失礼しました。ご飯の前に着替えるのが先ですよね。
She bolts into the bathroom like a frightened rabbit. I guess she's realized what's going through my head. Besides Roa. After we polish off an intriguing dinner, Ciel insists on tending to my arm, or at least making it look more presentable. Just a splint and a bandage make a world of a difference.
それで、先輩。俺はこれからどうすればいいのかな。
If we consult the church, we might uncover a way to restrain Roa.
まずは遠野くんの中のロアを一時的に沈静化させます。この部屋は簡易的な聖域になっていますから、とりあえずここにこもっている限り危険はないはずです。
ですね。頭もヒリヒリするぐらいでめまいも起こらないし、高揚感に襲われることもないし。でもそれは一時的なもので万全ではない。
はい、あくまでロアを沈静化させているだけですから、根本的な解決にはなっていません。加えてロアの意識は日に日に増大していくものです。この部屋もいずれ意味をなさなくなる。ですからその前にロアを消し去る方法を見つけ出します。先ほども言いましたが、法王朝に戻れば何らかの手段があるはずなんです。だって13年前とは違う私というサンプルがあったのですから、彼らが転生体とロアの魂を切り離す研究をしていないはずがない。
Besides killing the host, I hope.
じゃあ本当にうまくすればロアを切り離せる。
ですが、仮にその手段が確立されていたとしても、あなたを待っているのは地獄かもしれない。その術式が私一人で扱えるものならまだいいけれど、もし本国でなければ行えないものなら。
シエル先輩だけじゃなく、俺も教会に行かなくちゃいけないってことですね。
はい、彼らから見れば私もあなたも異端者です。人並みの扱いはされないでしょう。遠野くんの場合、目のことさえ黙っていれば普通の男の子ですから、私のように研究材料として扱われることはないでしょうけど。
それでもすごく痛い。
どうでしょう。痛みや耐性を測る手術ではありませんから、麻酔ぐらいは使うと思いますが。まあそのあたりは立ち会う人間の趣味ですね。異常性癖者でないことを祈ってください。
That is not the least bit comforting. Unusual tastes. I bite back a really bad joke. She has a real talent for saying the wildest things with the straightest face. She probably doesn't even realize it.
問題は過程ではなく結果です。教会でも治療ができなかった場合、遠野くんは吸血種として扱われてしまうんです。そうなってしまったら、あなたは私と同じ扱いを受けることになる。死んだ方がマシな扱いをされてしまう。だから。
Another reason she wanted to end my life before I could transform into Roa. Then and now, her goal is to save me from a lifetime of agony. Only this time, she's not sure her solution is the right one.
いいですよ、先輩。それが一番確実ならどこにだって行きます。この部屋だってずっと安全なわけでもないんでしょう。 どんな結果になっても先輩に文句は言わないし、誰にも文句は言わせません。
いえ、たとえ何を敵に回そうとも誰にも遠野くんを傷つけさせない。それだけは信じてください。